Calissa Pollard. I'm here with Chris Anderson talking about SSO provisioning this time.
Hey guys, this is like the advanced mode SSO.
Yes.
But this should be very helpful to you guys, hopefully.
Yes.
I kind of want to start over with because I made this horrible chair squeak, but maybe we leave it in. It's kind of funny. Okay, it's all good. All right, so we're going to continue right where we left off. So if you saw the other video, Calissa had set up SSO from her Azure AD, and she tested logging in with her Calissa at Gmail, right? And it worked. And as you recall, if you go back to Opendock real quick, she had to manually create that the Calissa at Gmail user, right? And she, set the role to admin, all that kind of stuff. What we're going to show is that using SSO provisioning, we can make it where that user will get automatically created on the fly. If they exist in your Azure, they'll exist in Opendock. And also we'll be able to update her user role and also any warehouse restrictions, all from the Azure AD side.
Cool.
How's that sound?
Let's do it.
So to start, let's delete you. Delete yourself.
I'm just going to start over here.
Yeah, let's kill this user. All right, so there's no Calissa at Gmail. And now let's go back and let's just for a refresher, let's try to log in again and let's see how it fails. Okay. So we should get that error that we saw before, right? Okay, it's a little bit different. User not found, right? So there is no Calissa, what is the email? Calissa@gmail.com. Doesn't exist. All right. So normally you'd have to go manually create that on the Opendock side, but we're not going to do that. We're going to be lazier. More efficient. More efficient. Yeah. So let's go back to your Azure. And the way to enable provisioning is through adding a claim. This is all going to be done with claims. Claims are like extra data you can attach when you SSO in, right? So let's scroll up a little bit on our single sign-on setup and remember the attributes and claims section. So let's go ahead and click at it. And so the very first claim we're going to add is called provision.
Okay.
So just type in the word provision, and it has to be all lowercase.
Oh.
I think if you put extra spaces, I trim those off. I'm not sure, but okay, so provision is the name, and then the value is going to be just a string of the word yes. So if you just type in the word yes into Azure here.
Yes.
Yep, and you'll notice it kind of puts it in quotes. That's fine. Go ahead and hit, yep, perfect. So you're just setting a claim with a name provision to the value yes. If you do exactly that, it switches on provisioning mode. If you don't do that, you have the default behavior you saw before. All right, so let's click save. Now, we're not done, but let's go ahead and try it anyway, just so you can see what sort of errors you'll expect if you forget something. So let's go ahead and test again. Provisioning ought to be on. Let's see what it says. Okay, that's not what I expected at all. So that's disappointing. All right, maybe I don't know how my own software works. Oh, user not found, huh? Oh, I know what's going on here. This is important, actually.
Okay.
Azure AD, unfortunately, has this eventual consistency database thing where when you change settings, they do not happen right away.
Oh, no.
You must wait.
Oh.
And I'm so glad we messed up, actually, because you guys are going to run into this almost definitely. And this is why it's very important to kind of wait a little bit. I would say wait a few minutes before you try anything, because if you try it too quickly, it'll actually do the login with the wrong stuff and you'll make the wrong conclusions about what to do next. So I'm glad this happened to us.
Okay.
It makes my heart flutter a little bit every time.
Okay, so we'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, let's wait a second. Okay. All right, let's try it again. Hopefully Microsoft accepted our change to the claim.
Let's try again.
Okay. And now hopefully we'll see what I was hoping to see. Good.
Oh.
Okay, this is what I was hoping. All right, so now we get the error message I was expecting, and it says right there, SSO profile must contain role attribute. That's the error, but it clarifies. This attribute is required when using provisioning. So that's your clue that it understands. Opendock understands we're trying to use provisioning. But now it's telling you you're missing something. And what you're missing here is the role attribute. So let's go back to Azure, and let's go ahead and add it. So go back into the attribute claim editor. And let's do what it's asking. Let's add the role. And these are all documented in our documentation. I'm kind of just taking you through them. Now, what is the role? The role is the user role, the Opendock user role that you want.
Right.
And the rule is any of the valid roles you can use, just all lowercase. So admin is the word admin. Operator is the word operator. So if you look at the invite user thing, there you go. Owner, admin, operator, attendant, spectator. It's just lowercase.
Okay.
And that's all you have to know. So which one would you like to be? How about an operator?
Okay.
Let's make you an operator. We'll change it later. We'll upgrade you later.
Like that?
Just like that.
Okay.
Yep. Now, obviously, you can grab those from somewhere else. right? Like your specific setup on Azure, you might have a group where you group your users under a certain role. You just have to make sure that at the end of the day, it gets populated with this correct string, right? So Azure has these transformations, you can know this fancy stuff, but at the end of the day, Opendock just needs to know what role, as a string like that, right?
That sounds good.
So it doesn't have to be hard coded. I just want to point out to the savvy IT people out there.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and hard code you as an operator.
Save.
And actually, that's an important thing I should point out, actually, is that this would make every user an operator.
Got it. Okay.
So maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe we do something a little more clever.
Yeah.
Let's use a field in your user account on Azure instead of saying operator.
Okay.
And so go ahead and type in user. Oh, and this is a bug, actually, in Microsoft. So we need to start over.
Oh, no.
Microsoft has a horrible bug. So just X out of this.
Okay.
This is so bad. Microsoft should be ashamed of themselves, but add a new user. So you could have done what I just showed you. You could set role to operator, but you realize this is the SSO config for the app. Right. So that means every user would have that role. That's bad. We don't want that. So we want it to be based on the actual user. So let's pick a field from the user. Now, you might use a field that is a custom field you've added or something. But how about let's pick department? Yeah, department. This will depend on your business, right? But we're going to pick department to mean role. Okay. So let's try that. So go ahead and click save. Okay. Now, your Calissa user, now let's go ahead and make sure, there it is, role is set to user.department. Great. So now let's go to the Calissa user and set your department to the role that we want for Opendock.
Okay.
So go to, let's see, I forget how to get there, but maybe users and groups, and yeah, click on your Calissa Pollard user. Great. And then go to edit properties. And now let's look for that department. There it is, department. So here we're going to put, Calissa's role. Right. And then for each user, you would set it to the right thing. And again, it doesn't have to be department. It can be any of the fields that you can map.
Right.
Or I think with a pro account on Azure AD, you can have even custom fields. I don't know how that works. I'm not that good with Azure yet, but we're going to repurpose this department to mean Opendock role. Okay. So go ahead and how about do operator for now? Okay. And we'll change this later just to show how updates work. So go ahead and hit save. And then we should kind of scroll down and make sure your user actually, it doesn't really show it here, I guess. Maybe under properties. Yeah, let's look for department. Does it show it? Perfect. Okay. Cool. So let's go try a login.
All right. So I'm going to go.
Maybe hit the back button. That might take you. Or did that work? Oh, that worked. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Again? Yeah, let's test again. And it's going to have an error, which is okay. Errors aren't bad. They give us help. Great. So it got past the role. It liked the role. Okay. Because now it's saying you need first name. And so we'll go ahead and do first name and last name. So spoiler alert, but Opendock requires first name and last name. If you're familiar with a user setup in Opendock, you know that it's first name, last name, email, role, and warehouse restriction, right? Okay. So you're going to need all these claims.
So I'm going to go back to edit properties on the user.
Yeah, let's just double check. So your first name and last name are already set. That's good. Azure AD has that display name. We don't really use that, right? We're definitely going to be using first name, last name. But at the end of the day, you can map any fields you want in Azure. It's just that Opendock requires a first name and last name claim. Right. So we'll go ahead and map to the Azure's version of first name and last name. Yeah. But just know that that's up to you guys how you want to do that. So you're going to need to go back to, you don't need to change anything here because you already have that set, which is good. Let's go back to our SSO setup for Opendock app. And you're going to go back to claim editor. We'll do first name and last name together here. We don't need to go through every error message, I guess. So go ahead and do first name and notice the casing. It's first name, just like that. And if you're not sure, just look at our documentation. It gives you the exact naming. And now this one's going to be user. And this is a little confusing. It's not first name. It is, there's surname and there's given name. So first name is a given name, because it's given to you by your parents, right? It's a historical, confusing thing, but user given name is actually the first name in Azure. So go ahead and hit save. But again, if you guys use a different field, you just make sure you map it, and then you're going to need last name. Great. And so that'll be surname, I believe. Yes. Great. Now go ahead and hit save, and cool. And then, yep, that looks good. So let's maybe do another test. Yeah. And hopefully it applied the changes this time. You never really know. If you go too fast, Microsoft gets a little,
And I tend to move really fast.
Calissa's super fast. Her brain is amazing. Okay, Great. So it liked all that. Now it has another error, warehouse access list. Okay, this one's a little more complicated, but I'm going to show you guys the quick way to ignore it. If you don't know, the warehouse access list is basically, we have this ability, maybe Calissa, you could show here. Yeah. You can restrict users to have access to only certain warehouses within your org. But for right now, we're going to just let it be unrestricted. But then we'll come back and show you how to restrict. So let's do it the easy way for now. So all you need to do is go ahead and add the claim. And if you forget, Calissa gave you guys a good way to do it, which is copy it out of the error message because you'll have the exact naming. So go ahead and do that actually if you want. Did you grab it? Warehouse access list attribute. Unless I made a typo in the error message. Hopefully I didn't. Warehouse access list. Now we're going to just hard code it to the word all. And that means they have access to all warehouses or it's unrestricted. Right? You can always do that. And that if you don't care about warehouse access list restrictions, just set it to all, forget about it. If you want to restrict your users, we'll show you how to do that in a little bit. But we're going to just do all for now. Great. So let's look at our claims. We have the original email that's always required for Opendock SSO. And then we have now the provisioning ones. Provision, yes, turns on provisioning. The role will set the user's role. The first name and last name will set their first name and last name, and then the warehouse access list. All of those are required, as you saw. And once you have them, the first time a user SSOs in from your IDP into Opendock, if that user account doesn't exist, it'll get created with all those fields set the way you specified in your IDP. And later on, every time they SSO in, if any of those change, it'll get automatically updated, which we're going to demonstrate. But let's see if we got this to work at all. So let's give it a try.
Let's do it.
Hopefully this time everything is cool. Great. Look at that. There's Calissa Pollard. And let's look at your user and make sure it's what you expected. So there you are. The name is correct. You're an operator and you're unrestricted.
Yay.
There you go.
And my email is verified.
Your email is auto-verified because we trust that on the IDP side within your business that you guys have verified those emails. That's kind of on you when you use provisioning. But yeah, there you go.
Cool.
You just use provisioning for the first time.
That is the
pretty
very
neat,
first time
right?
for me.
Now let's say Calissa's an operator, but later on we promote her up to have more responsibilities. We want her to be an admin now, and she actually changed her name as well. And so we need to fix that. Now you don't need to reconfigure anything with SSO. We just update her user information, right? So let's go in here and let's edit properties. We're just going to edit your user here.
Let's say I got married.
Calissa got married again. And she took the Amin name. Okay. Now her department, remember we mapped that to role. So let's pick it. Let's change it to admin. And don't worry, if you type the wrong thing in there, it'll give you an error message. It's careful. That's it. Yeah. You updated your user. So let's go ahead and have you SSO in again. You notice it says Calissa Amin, and she's now an admin. So it's transparent to your users. This way you can manage their information in your IDP, whether it's Azure AD or any other SAML 2.0 compliant IDP. You can manage it all from that side. And everything is transparent to the user. There's no interaction needed. They just get hopefully from an app dashboard for your company, they get straight into Opendock, just like that. Now, deletion is still manual. There's no deletion mechanism. So if you want to remove a user from Opendock, you still have to click the little delete bucket there. But other than that, they can update all those things. Oh, we didn't show you warehouse restriction. All right. Well, she's an admin, but we want her to only work with certain warehouses. How do we do that? Well, we're going to have to restrict her. And the way we do that is you set the warehouse. So if we look at our claims, I kind of need to see it myself to remember what it's called. The warehouse access list all means unrestricted. But if you want to restrict, you just set it to a comma-separated list. Now, we're not going to change it here, though. No, we are. We are. You're right. We may have run into that bug, though, where you can't type in user. But we're going to map it to another field in the user, right? Okay. Well, that doesn't work. So you know what you do for this is you delete it and add it again. It's terrible. This is a Microsoft bug. Somebody write to Microsoft. How can you be a multi-gazillion-dollar company and you can't make this work right?
So we're going to delete this.
Yes.
Oh, how did I save it somehow?
No, I didn't actually delete. So try again. Delete. Now click OK.
Got it.
And we're just going to start clean with a brand new claim. There you go. And so this one, let's pick, what do you think? Let's see what we have. What would make sense? Maybe not department, but something.
There's like country as well. I don't know if country makes sense.
I had a couple good ones picked out and I forget what they were, but anything.
Office location?
Yeah, try office location. Yeah, so we're going to use office location to mean warehouse restriction list, basically. But again, that's up to you guys to decide how you want to do that. So this will make it user specific. There it is, warehouse access list, user office location. So now let's go to Calissa's user, and we're going to set her restrictions. And so again, edit the properties, and which one did we pick?
Office location.
Office location. Great. Okay. Now what do we put in here? You have to put in the ID for the warehouse, right? And we don't have a really easy way to fetch these yet. I'm going to be adding that to make it easier. But here's the cheat code. Just go to warehouses in your org, click on the warehouse you want them to have access to. And if you look at the URL at the top, that weird little number there, that alphanumeric number, that is your ID of the warehouse. Now, for the more technical people, that's called a UUID, a universal unique identifier. This is a thing in our API that's very common. But don't worry, I'm going to make this easier in the near future. So maybe by the time you see this video, we'll have an easier way to grab these.
Okay.
But let's grab it, and let's make sure we know which warehouse are you going to grab there. If you go back, what's it called?
It's going to be my Chandler.
It's your Chandler facility. Okay, so let's make sure that let's go ahead and do you want to do just one for now, or maybe two? Why don't we pick two?
Okay.
So you can do just one, or you can do more. Just make sure they're comma separated. So maybe pick Scottsdale. Let's do Scottsdale. All right. Let's grab that ID there. And if you get it wrong, it'll tell you that it's not formatted right. So
comma separated.
Comma separated. White space doesn't matter.
Do I need quotes?
Oh, Microsoft doesn't let you do more than.
Maybe specifically for this warehouse office field. So maybe you need a custom field.
Yeah, there's other fields that can be longer. So maybe this is a bad choice. I forget which one I used that let me do it.
Yeah.
Well, we can keep going. Let's just only restrict you to one. But just know that's what it would look like. It'd be comma separated.
And no quotes, right?
No quotes. It's just the ID, comma separated. If you get anything wrong, it'll let you know. And it'll tell you what went wrong. So it'll help you walk through if you get it wrong. Cool. I wrote a custom parser. So. Just for you guys, because I care. I really do. I want this to be as easy.
He really does.
I know it feels really difficult, but I hope it's as easy as possible. All right. So you're an admin, but let's make sure your restrictions are right. So you can see she only has access to Chandler. If you look at her user under users here, you should see the restrictions are now set to Chandler facility only.
And I'm still an admin.
But you're still an admin. Cool. And so that's everything you can do with provisioning for now. Really cool. Maybe in the future there'll be more. Let us know if there's more SSO type features you'd like to have.
Yeah.
We're happy to consider those, for the roadmap and see if it can make things easier for you guys.
Nice.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, this is great.
Was anything confusing?
No, that made a lot of sense.
Cool. All right. Well, have fun. Definitely hit us up if you run into any problems, though. We're happy to help you out.